Hello everyone, it's Helen here and thank you for joining me today. Now today's project is a Mother's Day card, so we're fast approaching Mother's Day now, and I do like my cards small. I don't like extra large cards very often, so this one's absolutely perfect for me. I've got one already. This one's for my mum, and I'm going to make another one now for my mother-in-law so my husband can give one to her. Okay, so let's quickly go through everything we're going to need. I've got some rose red cardstock, and I'll be going through the score lines and measurements in a moment. Some craft cardstock, and mount it onto some white cardstock. This is Stampin' Up shimmery white. I'll tell you why in a moment. And I've got my shimmery white here for the wreath as well, so I'll go through the dimensions for those in a moment. And I'm just going to quickly go through the stamp, the sets that I've used Circle of Spring. Now this is by Stampin' Up. You'll find this in the main catalogue, and I've used the wreath, the bow, and obviously the Happy Mother's Day, but all of these sentiments here will fit inside the wreath. And I'll also be using the wonderful Wreath framelits dies, so that coordinates. That will cut the wreath out perfectly. And on a separate note, if you like your die cuts to match more stamp sets, this also coordinates with Wondrous Wreath, which is also in the main catalogue, so it will cut out this wreath. So this is a 3-step stamp. You can barely see that, but I've got all the stamps inside there, so these all coordinate together, so it's absolutely perfect to have those as a set. Okay, so let's get on with the dimensions. So I have a 4x8 piece of cardstock. I think I may have said rose red, but it's not. It's Melon Mambo, and I've coloured it in with rose red. Okay, so I'm going to quickly score this at 4. So that's most of our cardstock prepped. Okay, so we're going to layer up our card like so. And if you so wish to, you can also put in a piece of paper there to write your sentiments on as well. So I've trimmed this down slightly smaller than the 4x8, and I've glued it down. So this is just basically that cheap copier scrap paper that you can buy in the shops. Okay, so let's move on to our stamping now. I've got one of my handmade tools. It's getting quite old now. I made this when the Misty was incredibly hard to get in the UK. I think it probably still is, but this is just a handmade one. It's made out of perspex and some brass hinges. Now I have got my eye on the Tim Holtz stamping tool, so hopefully I can get my hands on that one. I'm just taking off the wreath here, just double check that it's clean. It is. So I'm going to have my tab here. Now this is important. I'm going to have this tab because then it will coordinate, oh, I can't think of the word, but it will match up for when I use the die cut, which will also have that tab, or otherwise I'll be there all day trying to line that up, trying to find out where each leaf goes. So I'm going to be using archival black ink, so just quickly close that. I'm using this stamp pad just in case it doesn't give me the perfect image the first time, and then I can restamp it in exactly the same place. This may be a homemade sort of gadget, but it actually does work very well, so I'm really pleased with that, especially with the 2 and 3 step stamps. So I'm just going to press that down. See there, it's slightly faded in the centre, so let's give this another couple of goes. So what I'm doing is I'm tapping down. So I've done the smooshy and then I'm just tapping down. It's because of the type of pad that is. It's like a fabric, and as you can see it's fraying on the sides. Just make sure that's all lined up in the corner. I'm going to give that a good pressing in the centre now. I've actually decorated this with the Floral Boutique washi tape, so I've made it nice and pretty. That's much better. There we go. I think my nail varnish has come off there, but we're going to cut that out so you're not going to see it. So I'll quickly grab a baby wipe just to clean that off. It's good to clean your stamps straight away after you've used them, especially if it's photopolymer. Okay, so that's the archival mostly off now, and then when I finish crafting I can then give it a proper clean in my scrub. I'm going to put that back, otherwise I'll be looking for that later. Not done stamping yet actually. Put that away. I'm going to grab a little foam mat now just to make it a little easier, and a block. We're going to go with this bow here. So I'm going to give that a twist and a tap, twist and a tap. There we go. And the flower. Going to use the same. This flower is optional. You don't have to add the flower, but I just thought it would look nice on the back. There we go. And now I'm just going to go get the big shot ready. Okay, there's my big shot. Grab all the bits I need. Okay, I've got my magnetic platform there ready. Okay, so see this little tab here? If I get this right, I should get it almost first time. Oh, yep, here we go. Just need to line that up. If you don't have a magnetic platform, just use a bit of washi tape or masking tape just to hold your thinlet in the right place. So I'm going to cut this out before I colour it in, because if I make a mistake, I'm just going to stamp another one out and then cut that one out, and that will save any ruined and wasted time, ruined work. So this one should coordinate as well. This one's a little trickier, but it should line up with this one here. There we go. I'm just going to guess that that's in the right place. And that's lined up. Okay, you can do these all separately. Okay, this one's a little trickier. I think that's even all the way round, so I don't think it has an orientation, so I'm just going to stick it down. There we go, just double check that everything's in the right place, and then I'm going to carefully put my plate over the top. And then wheel it through. Just going to wheel it back, if I can get it through. There we go. Here's our bow. That's okay. Our flower. We don't need that. And our wreath. That worked out quite well. Okay, and now I'm just going to tidy this up and then we'll get on with our colouring. Okay, so I've just zoomed in and I've got a spare piece of paper there. That's shimmery white, but it could be any paper. Blender pens, and I'll be using rose red and pear pizzazz. Okay, so these are the Stampin'Up blender pens. They're like the colourless blender pens that you can get. So I'm going to be using these for actually colouring in all of my flowers and leaves. I don't actually have a pear pizzazz or a rose red pen. So just squeeze your pad like that, or you can smoosh it onto a block. Okay, so I'm just going to pick up some of the colour. This is there in case I need to change colours. I'm just going to quickly colour in all the flowers, just like so. And it will start to fade out. So if you've not used these before, you just load up the colour like that, and then you do your colouring in, and as you can see, it gets lighter and lighter as the colour comes off, and then you're pretty much back to it going clear again, and then you can use another colour. But you can also use these for doing tones, like what I've done here on the bow. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go around all of the flowers. You can decide whether it looks like a leaf or a flower. So with this one, I think that's a flower, so I'm going to colour that in. You can do some nice multicoloured images as well, so you can add some more colours in. Okay, so I'm going to change my colour now and quickly show you the leaves. This really is so simple. It's quite relaxing as well, colouring in. So here's the pear pizzazz. So then just colour in your leaves. Just like so. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to finish colouring all of these in, and then I'll be back to show you how I did the tones on the bow. Okay, so I've done my wreath and my little flower. So there's the wreath there. Okay, so now we're just going to move on to the bow. So let's bring my original back. Okay, so I'm going to put the darkest shades in first, where I think that they're going to appear. So it's probably going to be dark around here, and then it's going to get lighter towards the bottom. Do the same with this side. I'm going to go over again with another layer. So this will be our first layer. So now I'm going to pick up some of the darker colour just here that I haven't touched. I'm just going to add that here and then blend that down. Okay, so now I'm going to work on the top bits of the bow. There's also some shading here where the creases are, where the bow goes in. That's also where shadows can be found. Just doing our first coat here. Just going to add some darker sections just in the centre. And blend that out. And something I didn't do on here that I should have done really is the outside bits as well, just to create that curve. So I'm just going to do some just there as well. Just creates a bit of extra dimension. Okay, and then these two sections here and here are quite dark, so I'm going to just completely colour those in really dark. Might need 2 or 3 goes just to get the depth. This is why I'm using the shimmery white cardstock. It's absolutely perfect for colouring on. It's super smooth, and it's the cross between a whisper white cardstock, which is super smooth, and a watercolour paper. So it has what's the word, both, I'll think of the word in a minute, but yeah, it has both of whatever the word is that I can't remember. Properties, that's the word, properties. So now this bow, this part here is going up and down in a curve, so I'm going to put the shading just along the top and along the bottom, and I need to take some ink off my blender, make it a little lighter, and then I can blend that in. Might have to add a bit more. Just blend that in there. There we go. Okay, so now there's another little gap there. Fill that in. I'm happy with that bow. Just gonna, now I've finished, I'm gonna get rid of all of the colour on my colourless blender, just to make sure that I don't get a surprise when I next use it. So where's my lid? I put my lid down somewhere. Okay, so I've got this ready. I've stamped it with Versamark just to speed up the process, and I've done white heat embossing powder, and I've also, if you can see this powder here, I've used my embossing buddy just to make the area anti-static, and I've also preheated my tool, so let's go. Leave that now just to cool down. I don't want to bother this at all when it's drying, otherwise you might smudge it. Okay, so I'm just going to prep this for now. I'm going to use dimensionals. Okay, so that should, yep, that's all. Oopsie. Why wouldn't I do that? There we go. Right. Let's get all this powder off. Okay, it has warped slightly, but we're going to back it onto this white paper, and that should give it a bit more stability. So decide which way round you want your wreath. There we go. If you noticed, I've stamped my sentiment not in the centre, it's just almost in the 2/3 up, because we're going to be having our bow here, and that centres everything, that makes it all even. Okay, so I'm going to use a bit of glue. I'm going to use Tombow on my bow. This stuff dries quite fast, so it's not like the PVA glue that you had at school where you'd be standing there for ages waiting for it to dry. It's like magic. It's like magic glue when I first tried it. Okay, so I'll leave that to set for a moment. Just going to stick our... I'll put the glue away again. Right, we'll stick our flower on the back while that bow sets. Make sure you get your cardstock the right way round. So that's our back. There we go. And now I'm going to add some rhinestones, so I'm going to grab my paper piercer. Okay, this is a larger flower than these flowers here, so I'm going to go for a larger rhinestone, just like so. I use the smaller rhinestones, and I need just 3. Okay, so if this is going through the post, make sure you glue your rhinestones down, or otherwise they might come loose in the envelope. Not sure if I'll add one there, it kind of sticks out a bit. I should have placed that better. This one's much better, so I might just add one there. Yeah, I'll just place it there just to equal it out. Okay, so let's get this card glued down. You can use Tombow or a tape runner. Okay, so if you need the dimensions for all of these mats and the cardstock that I'm using today, there will be a link down below that will take you directly to this project. I do the same on all of my videos, so whenever you need a project and the dimensions, just look for the link down below and you'll be taken there, and there'll also be a list on that particular project page. Need to add some more glue there. Oh, it might be alright. Yes, so there'll be a product list on my page as well, just so you know what I've used. Okay, so let's get this all stuck down, and then I have 2 cards. ready for my two mummies. Oops, too much wiggling there. Right, and there we go. There's today's project. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like this, and if you like this and want to see more, please do subscribe. It really does help. Okay, so happy Mother's Day everyone, and I'll see you next time.